channel. Today's video is going to be a strike back video for the Strike Back Videoathon. So basically YouTube has recently changed their monetization policy where you have to have 1,000 subscribers and over 4,000 hours of watch time, which is a lot of watch time. I think, and this has to be within a 12-month period. I was looking over my analytics and I didn't even come close to 4,000 in the last 12 months, so it affects me, which really sucks, and it affects a lot of other smaller YouTubers. So 3 amazing booktubers have decided to create this Strike Back Videoathon where basically we are trying to upload as many videos as you can in the next like 20 or so days. It goes from January 22nd up until February 20th, and there's different prompts for each day just to kind of help you out and give you something to post about, and in each video try and shout out a smaller booktuber just to kind of support other channels. So this video is going to be my top favorite books that I read because of YouTube. The first book I have is Throne of Glass by Sarah J. Maas. I absolutely love this book series, and for the smaller booktuber that I'm going to be shouting out today, I'm going to be shouting out for Hannah from The Rainy Reader, and she is pretty much the reason why I absolutely love this series. We bonded over this series and we have become best friends on YouTube and in real life. We talk to each other every day. I absolutely adore her. Her channel is fantastic, so definitely go over there and just show her some support. But I love this series so much, and when I first started BookTube, this book I believe had just been recently released and everyone was talking about Throne of Glass and everyone was going crazy on this series, and so I decided to pick it up and I'm so glad I did. It is about assassins, it is young adult fantasy, the world just grows immensely. It's such a good book series and I love it so much. The next book series I have is A Court of Thorns and Roses by Sarah J. Maas. This is the first book in this trilogy, and once again I found this because of YouTube obviously, but I think I had been doing YouTube for maybe about a little bit less than a year, maybe a year, and everyone was just talking about ACOTAR, and everywhere on Twitter it was ACOTAR and YouTube ACOTAR, and I had no idea what ACOTAR stood for until I learned that it was A Court of Thorns and Roses, and everyone was just going crazy for this series as well, and I decided to pick it up, and I am so glad that I did because I absolutely love this series. The next book I have is The Unbecoming of Mara Dyer by Michelle Hodkin, and once again, a lot of these are when I first started BookTube, but when I first started BookTube, The Evolution of Mara Dyer had just been recently released. And so everyone was just talking about it, and this book was just everywhere. And I'm usually not a huge like psychological thriller fan, but I decided to pick this one up, and yes, it's not too psychological thriller. It's perfect for young adult if, you know, and if you're not into like too much creepy. I mean, it is creepy and there are times where you're just like, what in the world is going on? But this book is so fantastic. I love it. It is just eerie and, as I said, creepy and definitely like psychological because it's in first person, but it is so good and I absolutely love this series. I ended up just reading this entire book in one night, just straight through, because I couldn't stop because it was just so good. The next book I have is Fangirl by Rainbow Rowell. Now this is a young adult contemporary, and as you know, if you're not new to my channel, I'm not a huge fan on young adult contemporary. A lot of times I find the main characters a little bit immature, a little annoying, but Fangirl was just all over BookTube. You couldn't get away from Fangirl, and I think it deserves all of the high praise that it gets. We follow our main character and she is in her first year of college, and I think that's what makes this book so unique and special, because most young adult contemporary, the main character is in high school, and it was refreshing and it was interesting and so relatable to have a character in their first year of college, and you can just really relate to her struggles of getting through college and her freshman year, which I really appreciated, and I absolutely adored this book. Next, I have Across the Universe trilogy by Beth Revis, and this particular Across the Universe, not so much, but when I started YouTube, everyone was just raving about the fact that the third book, Shades of Earth, had a cover change. So everyone is just freaking out about the cover change. And I have the cover changes. I don't have the original covers. But everyone was just so angry about the cover change and just talking about this book all over the place. So I decided to pick it up, and I'm so glad I did, because this series is phenomenal. It is so good. It is fantasy sci-fi set in space. I loved it so much, and it was so good, and I am so glad that I picked it up because of YouTube. The next book I have is Illuminae by Amy Kaufman and Jake Kristoff. It's written so interesting, and I love the way the format is done. It's set in like video footage and schematics and like emails and instant messages and pictures, and just really interesting format, and I absolutely love it, and I'm so glad that I picked it up. The next book I have is The Gentleman's Guide to Vice and Virtue by Mackenzie Lee. Now this is another young adult contemporary, but like historical fiction young adult contemporary, and this book is so good. I absolutely love it, and it's just got the most interesting cast of characters. Monty is hilarious, and I love him so much, and the chaos and the shenanigans that happen in this book is just so good. And this probably wouldn't have been a book that I would have picked up on my own if it hadn't have gotten so much praise on YouTube. The next book I have is Stalking Jack the Ripper by Carrie Maniscalco, and this book is so good. It is historical fiction. It is more like mystery thriller historical fiction. I love it. It is so good. Just the wit and the sass and the humor between the characters in this book series is fantastic. This is definitely something more up my alley. This is definitely something that I probably would have read if I had known about it. I don't know if I would have known about this book if it hadn't been for BookTube. Once again, it lives up to the praise that it gets. The next series I have is Cinder by Marissa Meyer, and once again, this is was the series that was exploding when I first started BookTube, and I decided to give it a try. I wasn't too much of a fan of Cinder, but once I started the second book, Scarlet, that's when I really got invested and immersed into the world, and I absolutely loved the third and the fourth book, Cress and Winter. They were just so fantastic, and these are fairy tale retellings, and they're really amazing, and I honestly don't know if I would have picked them up if it hadn't been for YouTube. And lastly, I do want to mention a graphic novel, just because I'm not a huge graphic novel reader. I love graphic novels. I don't know much about them, and I don't read a lot of graphic novels. So I want to give my last book to Saga by Brian K. Vaughan. This is an adult, definitely adult, graphic novel. It is kind of like a Romeo and Juliet type retelling. It's really good. I love the story. I love the war between the different planets and the characters, and a very unique story, and I love it, and it's 100% not something that I would have picked up if it hadn't been for YouTube, and I'm really glad that I did, because it kind of opened my eyes to more graphic novels, because I think prior to BookTube, I hadn't read any graphic novels at all, so it was really nice to open my eyes to that. Alright guys, well that is it for this video. I really hope you enjoyed it. Comment down below and let me know some of your favorite books that you've read because of YouTube and BookTube, and I will see you next time in another video. Bye!